Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Wyatt, and in today's video our topic is teaching morphology. I want you to think about this question for a second. Have you ever watched a student freeze when they came across a word like unbelievable? They paused at the word, maybe they even guessed the word, or they skipped the word altogether. The problem with this is that the students are relying on memorization instead of meaning. Here's the truth. English isn't just a string of letters. It's built from meaningful parts called morphemes. English is morphophonemic, meaning it's built from phonemes, or the sounds, and morphemes, the units of meaning. Students must understand both to be able to read and comprehend English fluently. When students learn to recognize the roots, bases, prefixes, and suffixes, they'll stop guessing and start decoding with confidence. In this video, we'll discuss morphemes, roots versus bases, and strategies to teach students to unlock word meanings using morphemes. Once students understand how words are built, they will build stronger vocabulary, their comprehension will increase, and they will have the confidence they need to become more fluent readers. So what is a morpheme? A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a word. Think of it as a puzzle piece in the structure of a word, each piece carrying meaning. Some words are made up of just one morpheme, while others are made up of multiple morphemes put together. For example, if you have the word cat plus the suffix s, it equals cats. The word cat has a meaning part. It's a morpheme, meaning one singular cat. But when you add that suffix s to the end of cat, you've completely changed the meaning. Now this word is plural, meaning you have more than one cat. And then sometimes you have words that are made up of two roots. So like tele plus scope equals telescope. Tele meaning far and scope meaning to see, meaning that you can see something from far away. A morpheme is the meaningful parts of words like your prefixes, your bases, your roots, and your suffixes. And we're going to take a deeper dive into what all this means in just a second. So there are two types of morphemes. You have free morphemes, which are base words, and they can stand alone as a word. So for example, the word help or the word cat, those are base words. You could use those in your everyday conversations and in your writing. So some more examples would be like run, happy, book. And then you have bound morphemes. These are your affixes and your roots. Affixes cannot stand alone, so you're going to have to add that affix to another meaningful part. So if you think back to that word cat, the affix or that suffix in this case would be that s. You would have to add it to that base word to have a word. You could also add affixes. Affixes are your prefixes and suffixes to a root to create a word. Most of the time, roots cannot stand alone. They must be attached to another morpheme. So for example, ject. In the word reject, you have the prefix re, and then you have the root ject, and it means to throw again. And you create the word reject. There are some examples to where roots can be standalone, as in the word scope. It's a Greek root, and it means to look or to see. But like I said, most of the time, your roots are going to have to be added to another meaningful part to create a word. So there are three strategies that we're going to talk about today to help students unlock word meanings using morphemes. The first one is the crisscross morphology graphic organizer. So with this organizer, we're going to teach students to break down those meaningful parts into prefixes, roots, bases, and or suffixes. And then we're going to talk about those meaningful parts, and then put it together to determine the word's meaning. Now, this is a great scaffolded instructional strategy that you can use when you're beginning to teach students about words having meaning parts. Now, I will say that this doesn't work for every word in English simply because of the etymology, or the word's origin and meaning has changed over time. But it is a good place to start. So, if you look at the word portable, so students would break it down into port and then able. And so port means to carry, and able means able to. So portable would mean able to carry. All right, let's look at another example. So you have the word transport. So the students are going to break this word into their meaning parts. So you have trans and port. So the crisscross strategy, you're going to put the meaning of trans means across, and then port means to carry. So transport means to carry across. And if this is something that you're interested in, I will link the TpT link in the description box below. Here are some morpheme activities with this crisscross strategy that you could do with your kids. It also has some tactile cards where they can actually manipulate the meaningful parts to create words and determine their word meaning. All right, so the next strategy you can use is using word matrix, and then using that word matrix to create word sums. So this is going to give students an opportunity to manipulate previously taught prefixes, roots, and suffixes to build new words and determine those word meanings. So to begin with the word matrix, so they can use any of these prefixes, the root, and any of the suffixes to determine a real word. So for this one, you had re plus port means report. Or you could even go one step further. You could have re plus port and then the suffix ing, creating the word reporting. So they would record all of these words into their word sums down here below. And then you could model this with them. And after doing some modeling, you could do some guided practice where students are working with you or maybe working with a partner using the word matrix to create new words. And then independently, they could create their own words. And then you want them to choose some of the words that they have created and then use that in a sentence. That's going to enhance that meaning part because then they're using that word in context. And then I will link this, link in the description box below. This is word matrix activities, and you have the word matrix and the word sums, and then some graphic organizers to explore those meaning parts even further. And then finally is a morphology journal. So with this is a journal that students can keep, and whenever they're learning a new affix or new word, they can add it to their journal. It can be kept in an interactive notebook or in a binder. A morphology journal is just a simple place where students can collect and explore word parts, and they're going to do that by breaking words into their prefixes, bases, roots, and suffixes. And then they're going to define the morphemes. So in this part, so for the word unbelievable, they would know that the base is believe, and it's a base because that word is a word that you can use in your everyday reading and writing. And then you have the prefix un. We want to put that meaning part there so that they're still understanding that words are made up of not just phonemes but also morphemes. So un means not. The suffix is able. It means able to. And so the meaning of unbelievable is not able to believe. And then in this section they could put the new word, and then they're going to break it down into their base or their root, prefix, suffix, and then that word meaning. And then you also can then take and create new words by combining previously taught morphemes. So this is that word matrix that we talked about previously. And then from there, they're going to create some word sums that will create new words. And then you can use your crisscross strategy to determine the new words' meanings and then use them in sentences. So this is going to help students become more independent with understanding those meaningful parts. The Morphology Journal is something that they can refer back to if they have any questions, and then add to as you go throughout the year. So I have a free newsletter, Morphology in Action. If you are interested in signing up for my email list, you can sign up for my email list and then receive this this newsletter. It also has a free The Morphology Journal, this free page in there. I hope you found this video very informative and helpful. And if you would please post any questions or comments about teaching morphology in the comment section below. Also, I would love for you to subscribe, and then you would be able to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you give us a like, that will just help more educators and homeschoolers be able to view my videos. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.